Welcome to Oxford News This Week. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Terry Stiles. In this week's news, online ad for an ATV leads to an alleged theft. Oxford is reaccredited as a national Main Street community, and stories of World War II are shared.
Stay tuned, learn more about these stories and others. The Oxford News begins right now. An online ad placed by an Oxford resident to sell an ATV ended with police chasing 3 suspects who allegedly attempted to steal the ATV when pretending to buy it. 2 of the subjects were arrested and taken to the Oakland County Jail. The 3rd subject escaped and now has an outstanding arrest warrant. The other 2 suspects were released pending further investigation.
At the State of the Community address, Oxford Village officials discussed the M24 reconstruction project and the growth that it should bring to the downtown Oxford area. The M24 project will stretch from Golden Gate Street in Orion to Harriet Street in Oxford Township and is expected to start on April 25th, 2020.
Oxford can continue to count itself among nationally recognized Main Street communities. This was decided during a January 17th evaluation. The DDA received credit for all criteria recognized by the National Main Street Center in Washington, D.C.
With the M24 reconstruction project scheduled to begin in 2020, the Oxford DDA wants to ensure there will be plenty of parking spaces available during the project. Because previous parking studies reflect that there is no need for further parking lot sites, the DDA board formed a committee to recommend parking changes and to coordinate public meetings with residents and business owners to get input from them. It is estimated to begin about 4 to 6 month process.
School safety has continued to be a focus of many school districts in the county, or actually in the country as well. Pre-Plan Live made a presentation to the Oxford Board of Education on January 8th. Pre-Plan Live's technology allows police officers to virtually walk through the schools in 3D. It also gives teachers live updates during emergencies, sending messages to their cell phones. Board members were receptive to the program, and nearly every board member having positive things to say. The board will meet again at 6:30 p.m. on February 12th at Oxford High School. You might want to attend.
The Chamber of Commerce gave the Village Police Chief Mike Sowald and Township Parks and Recs Director Ron Davis a leadership award last week at their annual chamber breakfast, recognizing community leaders who give above and beyond their job description. Both recipients are long-standing members of the community, as well as employees who go the extra mile for their neighbors.
Cancer may have claimed 53-year-old Mark Terrian's body last week, but according to his family and friends, not his spirit. Recently, he took one last trip to Orlando to visit Disney World and Universal Studios. He went with his family to ensure he left them with a treasure trove of happy memories to cherish. Mark's funeral was held on January 28th at Lake Point Community Church in Oxford. He will be interred with full military honors at Great Lakes National Cemetery in Holly. Service information will be posted when dates are finalized.
Last Friday, Rochester resident Donnaline Langtry visited the Oxford Public Library to share stories from women who worked during World War II. This was part of the Fireside Chat series. Langtry serves as the president of the American Rosie the Riveter Association. The remaining original Rosies from World War II today are in their 90s. Langtry hopes folks will take some time to honor all of them on March 21st, which was designated as National Rosie the Riveter Day. For more information about the ARRA and its mission, visit with www.rosietheriveter.com.
The M24 construction project may frustrate those trying to shop and eat downtown. So to help ease the frustration, the Oxford DDA is sponsoring a contest. Students of the Oxford School District are invited to create a construction slogan and marketing image for the project. The winning designer will receive a $200 Visa gift card. March 1st is the contest deadline, and it's only open to students currently enrolled in Oxford Community Schools. Entries can be sent to the DDA Village office or emailed to dda@thevillageofoxford.org.
Instead of hiding in their homes from the freezing weather last Sunday afternoon, over 100 people attended the Oxford Women's Club 15th annual wine and beer tasting. The fundraiser earned over $2,500 for the club's scholarship fund, which benefits all students. Applicants must have a minimum GPA of 2.0 to be eligible. Special education students are welcome to apply as well if they plan to pursue an education beyond high school. Applications can be obtained at the OHS Counseling Office, online at oxfordwomen's.com, or by calling 248-693-8066. The deadline to apply is coming up Monday, March 19th.
Kids should take advantage of those scholarships.
Oh, I'm telling you, every little bit helps. I remember my son's senior year, he scrambled all over the place for scholarships, and it helped. He didn't get huge ones, but he got them that helped pay for his computer, some helped pay for the books. Every little bit helps. And parents, this is the time. I mean, in January they should have started, but if you're worried about it, go to the counseling office and talk to them. There's pamphlets all over the place that say all the different scholarships that they can get, including broadcasting scholarships from Scripps.
Yes, Scripps.
Not Specs. I wanted to say Specs, but Scripps, which is awesome.
Yes, it is.
Not to mention this community. I'm telling you, the organizations here, the Rotary Club, the Lions Club, they all give out scholarships.
They all do. And I think, as you pointed out, the school, counselors, they would have that information available as well.
Yeah,
so
they can really, the kids can really use them. In fact, the Oxford Leader has a story about a young lady that won a $120,000 scholarship.
Wow.
I think Alexis might have talked about it. Caddying from the Caddy Scholarship Awards, and Alexis is going to try to get an interview with her, so that'll be really nice to see.
Right, we have one of their interns that actually may get into the Air Force Academy soon.
That's right. That's another one. Yeah, yay. And we have great Oxford kids.
Yep.
That's what I think we should all be proud of, is our Oxford kids and the school system that they go to.
Absolutely.
Right. That's it for Oxford News this week. If you'd like to learn more about these stories and others, pick up a copy of the Oxford Leader newspaper or catch us on our website at occtv.org, on YouTube, and of course our regular cable channel Spectrum, channel 191, and AT&T channel 99.
Coming up soon, OCTV's Cody Wright with school sports and school news, incorporating great topics with Alexis Ware. And you won't want to miss Auto Talk and Science in the News with Dave Kenny.
I'm Terry Stiles. Thanks for watching Oxford News this week, where we bring your news closer to home.
And I'm Elgin Nichols. Remember, always be kind to your friends and neighbors, and thanks for watching.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication New Scientist. In our first and only story, if you bled when you brushed your teeth this morning, you might want to get that seen to. We may finally have found the long elusive cause of Alzheimer's disease, Porphyromonas gingivalis, the key bacteria in chronic gum disease. That's bad, as gum disease affects around 1/3 of all people. But the good news is that a drug that blocks the main toxins of P. gingivalis is entering major clinical trials this year, and research published today shows it might stop and even reverse Alzheimer's. There could even be a vaccine. Alzheimer's is one of the biggest mysteries in medicine. As populations have aged, dementia has skyrocketed to become the 5th biggest cause of death worldwide. Alzheimer's constitutes some 70% of those cases, and yet we don't know what causes it. The disease often involves the accumulation of proteins called amyloid and tau in the brain, and the leading hypothesis has been that the disease arises from defective control of these two proteins. But research in recent years has revealed that people can have amyloid plaques without having dementia. So, many efforts to treat Alzheimer's by moderating these problems have failed, that the hypothesis has been seriously questioned. However, evidence has been growing that the function of amyloid proteins may be as a defense against bacteria, leading to a spate of recent studies looking at bacteria and Alzheimer's, particularly those that cause gum disease, which is known to be a major risk factor for the condition. Bacteria involved in gum disease and other illnesses have been found after death in the brains of people who had Alzheimer's, but until now it hasn't been clear whether these bacteria caused the disease or simply got into via brain damage caused by the condition. Multiple research teams have been investigating P. gingivalis and have so far found that it invades and inflames brain regions affected by Alzheimer's, that gum infections can worsen symptoms in mice genetically engineered to have Alzheimer's, and that it can cause Alzheimer's-like brain inflammation, neural damage, and amyloid plaques in healthy mice. When science converges from multiple independent laboratories like this, it's very compelling, says Casey Lynch of Cortexime, a pharmaceutical firm in San Francisco. In a new study, Cortexime have now reported finding the toxic enzymes called gingipanes that P. gingivalis uses to feed on human tissue in 96% of the 54 Alzheimer's brain samples they looked at, and found the bacteria themselves in all 3 Alzheimer's brains whose DNA they examined. The bacteria and its enzymes were found at higher levels in those who had experienced worse cognitive decline and had more amyloid and tau accumulations. The team also found the bacteria in the spinal fluid of living people with Alzheimer's, suggesting that this technique may also provide a long-sought method of diagnosing the disease. When the team gave P. gingivalis gum disease to mice, it led to brain infection, amyloid production, tangles of tau protein, and neural damage in the regions and nerves normally affected by Alzheimer's. Cortexime had previously developed molecules that block gingipanes. Given some of these to mice, reduced their infections, halted amyloid production, lowered brain inflammation, and even rescued damaged neurons. The team found that an antibiotic that killed P. gingivalis did this too, but less effectively, and the bacteria rapidly developed resistance. They did not resist the gingipane blockers, however. Some brain samples from people without Alzheimer's also had P. gingivalis and protein accumulations, but at lower levels. We already know that amyloid and tau can accumulate in the brain for 10 to 20 years before Alzheimer's symptoms begin. This, says Lynch, shows P. gingivalis is a cause of Alzheimer's, not a result. Gum disease is far more common than Alzheimer's. But Alzheimer's strikes people who accumulate gingipanes and damage in the brain fast enough to develop symptoms during their lifetime, she says. We believe this is a universal hypothesis of pathogenesis. Cortexime reported in October that the best of their gingipane blockers had passed initial safety tests in people and entered the brain. It also seemed to improve participants with Alzheimer's. Later this year, the firm will launch a larger trial of the drug, looking for P. gingivalis in spinal fluid and cognitive improvements before and after. They also plan to test it against gum disease itself. Efforts to fight that have led a team in Melbourne to develop a vaccine for P. gingivalis that started tests in 2018. A vaccine for gum disease would be welcome, but if it also stops Alzheimer's, the impact could be enormous. Well, that's it for this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television.
Hello and welcome back to Score News. Hope you all had a lovely weekend. We certainly are getting into our winter weather here, with almost every day out last week for Oxford schools. This past week was brutally cold with -degree temperatures and high winds. Wednesday in particular got so cold weather officials advised people not to go outdoors without every inch of their bodies covered. I took a look at humanesociety.org and michigan.gov to give you all some safety rules and regulations to be aware of in conditions like these, including bringing your pets indoors. Pets are susceptible to hypothermia and sometimes death when left out in cold weather for too long. Their fur does not keep them guarded against harshness of winter. Owners can be fined or in some cases face criminal charges. Animal neglect is considered a misdemeanor in all 50 states and Washington, D.C. A good rule of thumb to follow is if temperatures drop below 32 degrees, dogs and other animals should only be left outdoors for 30 minutes at a time. You should also make sure your car is in great condition with proper tires, antifreeze, and a few safety items. The National Safety Council advises that you check significant parts of your vehicle before going any distance in it. These parts include brakes, head and rear lights, windshield wipers, and the overall well-being of your vehicle. In times of emergency, some common household products would be beneficial to stash away in the trunk or back seat. An extra pair of warm clothes, shovels, blankets, and other traveling products. This would always include an inflated spare tire, tools to change the damaged one, jumper cables, and other year-round essentials in case of emergency. In the winter, it's safe to always keep your tank at least a quarter of a tank to increase the likelihood of starting up in coldness, extreme coldness. Bringing the news back to home, the Oxford Downtown Development Authority is sponsoring a contest for Oxford students for the 2020 M24 construction project. Students participating must be enrolled in one of the Oxford community schools and will be asked to create a construction slogan and marketing image. No more than 4 words, and the image shouldn't be too busy. The winner of the contest will receive a $200 Visa gift card. To submit your entries by email or phone number, contact dda@villageofoxford.org or 248-770-8587. Entries can also be mailed to the DDA office at 22 West Burdick Street. Remember to include a full name, address, email address, and a phone number. The contest deadline for all contest participants is March 1st. Students, this week looks promising with high temperatures finally back in the double digits. Monday being an important day for 8th grade students and their parents. They have their high school tours and a few other events starting at 6 until about 8:30 at OHS that night. Tuesday is an IEP day along with orchestra concerts for Lakeville Elementary and OMS. Thursday is the first night of Lakeville's talent show from 2 to 3, and there's also an Oxford Schools early college informational meeting from 6:30 until 7:30. Friday is your second chance at seeing the Lakeville talent show from 6 to 7. DA and OES are having a family glow dance party at 6:30, and remember to pack your smiles because Friday, Oxford Middle School are having their club photo day. Lots of things going on this week, but that does it for school news. Drive slow and safe. Until next time, I'm Alexis Ware.
What's going on, Wildcat fans? Cody right back here once again for this week's Sports Report. We've had a few cancellations this week due to the weather. However, we still have a little to touch on in just about every sport. The winter season is in its last half, and before we know it, we'll be talking about sports like baseball, lacrosse, and soccer. So for now, let's just enjoy the season while it's still here, and let's dive right in. Out of the gate, the boys basketball team continues to dominate this season. All around, the Oxford basketball program has had a year to remember. This last week, the boys took on Royal Oak here at home, What a show they put on. 66-38 was the final score. Oxford with the win. The first half was exciting, starting out back and forth for a minute. Oxford then settling in and grabbing more of a lead with every possession. The play of the game goes to Logan Coughlin and Trey Townsend. Coughlin heading up the court with the ball, sees Trey calling for him to toss it up. He does so, and Trey slams it home. It was absolutely beautiful. We got it on replay as well. Defense also won the game. There's no doubt about that. It was just another great performance from these guys, and that's what we've been seeing all season. Both JV and freshmen also came out with the wins that night against Royal Oak. Watching JV lets us know who we got to look forward to next year on varsity, with guys like Trenton Brown come to mind, as well as Palmer Speck and Mason Mulholland, and that's just to name a few. These guys continue to look great, as well as the freshman team who took the win as well, 52-19. On the other hand, we got our girls basketball team who looks great this season as well. The varsity girls did struggle against West Bloomfield on the road late last week, falling to a final of 63-53. However, even before that, taking on Troy Athens on the road, the girls took the win in a tight battle, coming out on top 46-44. Like I said, the basketball program is all around solid. Boys varsity with a 12-0 undefeated record so far, and girls varsity with a winning record of 8-4. Only time will tell where this season will take these teams. On the flip side, we managed to get out to see the Oxford and Avondale United hockey team play. We've been keeping up with these guys this year, and we've talked about the team rebuilding and struggling with a short bench, a young team, and not to mention going up against these bigger schools with two full lines of seniors who've been playing together for the last 4 years. They got the chemistry on their side, and we're battling with that. It's been a tough season for this team, and still they continue to play and keep their head up and come out with a win every now and then. They took the win against Marysville on the road, 4-2 the week before, and so we decided to head over and cover them take on Lapeer at Detroit Skate Club, a team we played against earlier this season, and we took the win. It was a solid performance this time on both sides. We did take the loss again, although it was a close with pulling out our goalie in the last minute of the third. The final score of the night ended at 6-4. We plan on making it out to another game here before the end of the season. Most likely senior night, the boys will be taking on Farmington, once again at Detroit Skate Club. Also, the boys swim and dive team had a close but rough match against Bloomfield Heels here at home. It came down to some tough decisions towards the end, and the night ended with Bloomfield ahead by 2. The final score of the night was 94-92. The boys' record now is 2-4, but still a good chunk of the season is ahead of them. The wrestling team also lost in a close matchup against Clarkson at home. Final score of the meet was 32-28. The wrestling team's record is still a winning record at 5-2. And lastly, the boys and girls bowling teams taking wins like always. Both of these outfits are rarely ever losing matches. Both teams took on Harrison here at Collier Lanes. This was last week. The boys came out with a strong win, 28-2. The girls also proving to be no slouch, coming out with the win 19-10. Last year was a great season for Oxford bowling with state championships and all. I'm looking forward to seeing how this season turns out. And that's going to be all for this week's report. For any more info on these events and more, go to oxfordathletics.org. There's plenty of game breakdowns, statistics, and more all right there for you to find. Once again, that is oxfordathletics.org. While you're at it, might as well check us out at OCCTV.org. All of our coverage of these events are posted on our YouTube page, which you can access through the website. Once again, that is OCCTV.org. Well, folks, I want to thank you all for watching and remind you all to tune in next time. But until then, I'm Cody Wright. Go Wildcats.
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication Automotive News. In our first story, General Motors is adding an automatic transmission to its top-end track edition of the Chevrolet Camaro for the first time in nearly 3 decades. Chevrolet on January 29th said the 2019 Camaro SL1 1LE, which the brand calls the fastest, most track-capable Camaro ever, will offer a 10-speed automatic transmission beginning in late February. The optional gearbox will cost $1,595, pushing the starting price of the car to $73,790, including $995 shipping and $1,700 gas guzzler tax. An automatic transmission has been offered on the current ZL1 model, but it's rare on the 1LE package. The last time it was offered on the Track package was the 1992, a Chevrolet spokesman said. Automatic transmissions, which dominate sales, have been slowly making their way even into the most performance-oriented American muscle cars. The 840-horsepower 2018 Dodge Challenger SRT Demon was offered exclusively with an 8-speed automatic transmission, and Ford this month confirmed the 700-horsepower plus 2020 Mustang Shelby GT500 would also be offered only with a 7-speed automatic transmission. Steve Majoros, director of Chevrolet passenger car and crossover marketing, said the Bowtie brand's decision to offer the automatic was because of customer demand, according to a release. About 80% of Camaros sold have automatic transmissions, Chevrolet said. The automatic transmission can also make the car quicker on the track, the company said. Chevrolet engineers, according to the release, pushed the limits of the automatic transmission to be more than 1/2 second faster than the standard manual on GM's 2.9 Milford Road course. The automatic offering is the latest in Chevrolet's plans to make the Camaro more appealing to buyers. U.S. sales of the car fell 25% last year from 2017, marking its 4th straight annual decline. And at Ford Motor Company's next-generation Police Interceptor hybrid utility, based off its upcoming 2020 Explorer, is expected to get an EPA estimated rating of 24 miles per gallon combined when it becomes available to police departments this year. It sits on a rear-wheel drive platform that's new and is expected to be faster than the outgoing model. The new Interceptor hybrid's mileage figure is 41% better than the current utility, which features a 3.7-liter gas engine. Ford said the hybrid technology, which allows the gas engine to shut off for long periods while idling, can save police departments between $3,500 and $5,700 per month in gasoline over the outgoing model. It's powered by a standard 3.3-liter hybrid engine, a 3-liter EcoBoost, and 3.3-liter V6 engines are optional. All come with a 10-speed automatic transmission. The new model has added cargo capacity, but roughly the same passenger volume as the outgoing model. Despite its popularity, the outgoing model has faced some safety questions. Police agencies in 2017 reported several crashes believed to be linked to carbon monoxide exposure. Those problems, Ford said, stem from modification agencies made to the vehicles after they left the factory. The automaker has since offered to cover the cost to repair those police vehicles. In November, NHTSA closed an investigation without seeking a recall into nearly 50,000 interceptors over reports of sudden brake failures. According to testing by Michigan State Police, the new Interceptor hybrid had the fastest 0 to 100 mile per hour acceleration, fastest lap, fastest average lap, and highest top speed at 137 miles per hour versus the competition. Chevrolet Tahoe-based police vehicles did not complete the state police test because of overheating. General Motors engineers elected not to retest the vehicles until they isolated and corrected the problem, the police said. And on the recall front, Fiat Chrysler Automobiles is recalling more than 182,000 Ram pickups worldwide to repair an electrical issue related to the vehicle's power steering. The recall, announced January 25th, involves about 179,000 vehicles in North America, including over 159,000 in the U.S. A fastener that grounds the battery wasn't properly secured in 2019 Ram 1500 pickups. As a result, the connection can become loose and disable the power steering. Drivers can still steer, but the unstable feedback may increase the risk of a crash. FCA said there have been no reports of crashes or injuries. The automaker did not state a date for the recall to begin, but under U.S. law, it has to start within 60 days. The Ram 1500 won North America Truck of the Year at the Detroit Auto Show last month, an annual competition that judges redesign or significantly change vehicles on innovation, design, safety, performance, technology, value, and driver satisfaction. Even though the Chevrolet 1500, Silverado, GMC Sierra 1500, and Ram were all redesigned, media reviews praised the Ram for its interior. FCA said December sales rose 14%, driven in part by a 34% increase in Ram pickup sales. Well, that's it for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and as always, may the wind be at your back as you cruise down life's highways.